In the winter transfer window, MLS teams have spent big hoping to improve their squads for the upcoming season. Here's some new arrivals to look out for. As a season ticket holder with FC Dallas, I cannot wait to see this guy on the field. Over the last few years, we've lacked an elite nine since Ricardo Pepe departed, and considering we've spent nearly $13 million to bring him here, the expectations are high. Already in his career, he's won league titles in Portugal and the Czech Republic. Internationally, he's a regular with Croatia, and given enough service, should be a thorn in the side of MLS defenders. Familiar face to European football fans, Emil Forsberg. He'll be continuing his association with the Red Bull Group, this time in New York City. Over the last 12 months, he's been pretty involved with Leipzig, contributing 5 goals and assists in 950 minutes on the field. With more game time and a lower level of competition, you'd think he's going to be a very effective weapon in North America. And considering the Red Bulls finished 8th last season, he should be a significant upgrade. Inter Miami sure have an effective scouting network in South America. Over the last year, they filled their U22 initiative slots well, bringing Farias, Thomas Alvarez, and Diego Gomez to Florida. With the former out injured for the season, a slot reopened, and it's enabled them to bring Federico Redondo to the club. I'm looking forward to seeing what this guy can do, considering AC Milan and Bayern Munich were allegedly very interested. After the failure of the Chicharito Douglas Costa era, the LA Galaxy have gone a very different route with their open designated player slots. Gabriel Pec arrives from Vasco da Gama. The Brazilian youth international has already registered 40 goals and assists in his career. Now with an attacking triumvirate of Ricky Puig, Joseph Pancel and Pec, on paper it's amongst the best in the division. Defensively there's got to be question marks still though. Last season they had the worst in the league, something which has to improve. In terms of developing young South American players, I don't think there's currently a better league in the world than Major League Soccer. The Argentine youth international Pedro De La Vega contributed 9 goals and assists last season in his home league with Lanús before moving on. He's joining a pretty solid team who placed second in the Western Conference in 2023 and surely have aspirations to go one better. To a man at the other end of his career, Luis Suarez. Reunited with his former Barcelona teammates at Inter Miami, the four of them on the field are going to be fun to watch. Despite his advancing years, for Gremio last season he registered 43 goals and assists. If they can get anywhere near that level of production from them this season, the transfer will pay dividends. There are some serious question marks about his athleticism though, and how his body's going to hold up over a prolonged MLS season. Jovan Mijatovic. I think it's fair to say NYCFC's 2023 campaign was pretty underwhelming. They finished the season in 11th place, having failed to replace their best player, Tati Castellanos. Finally though, they have someone to fill those boots. Although he's just 18 years of age, already Mijatovic has 10 goals and assists in Serbia's Super League for Red Star Belgrade. The ceiling on this guy is huge, and I'm sure there will be plenty of European sides seeing how he progresses. Arguably one of the strangest signings of this window, as LAFC already had a pretty solid goalkeeper room with Maxime Crepeau and John McCarthy. Both of those have now departed, and France's World Cup winning captain will fill the gloves. Obviously at his peak, he was an unbelievable keeper, but towards the end of his time at Tottenham, I thought he was getting a little bit questionable. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of performances he can put in here. From a leadership perspective, it does make sense though for them to sign him, after Chiellini retired. Part of a pretty exclusive group of players who've scored over 100 goals in Serie A, Luis Muriel. Just about everywhere he's been, the Colombians hit the back of the net frequently. With his minutes dropping at Atalanta though, it definitely made sense for him to move on. How Orlando City decide to utilise him is going to be interesting, whether they partner him with Duncan Maguire or play him up top on his own. Already the Florida side were good last season. Maybe this signing could be enough to fire them to the championship. So technically, we signed Illaramendi last summer, but as our team gets basically no media coverage, and I'm a little biased, I'm going to include him in here. If there's one player I'm excited to see a full season of, it's him. Without a doubt, he could easily still be playing in Europe. During the pre-season games I saw, him and Liam Fraser were beginning to form a nice partnership in the midfield, and any success we have this season is probably going to be contingent on him doing his thing. NYCFC have opened their checkbook this winter. All in all, they've spent over $20 million, with $7 being spent on Augustin Ojeda. As you can see, Already at the age of 18, he's pretty impressive. Over 24 appearances with Racing Club, he contributed 5 goals and assists, including one in the Copa Libertadores. There's definitely some question marks about his physicality, and at 5'5", whether he's going to struggle with some physical elements of the MLS. Last season's Golden Boot winner in Belgium, Hugo Cuypers. Over the campaign, he found the back of the net 34 times in 56 games. With the Fire, despite boasting Xherdan Shaqiri and Brian Gutierrez, he's joining one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. If they can get their front three going, they could be a force in the Eastern Conference this season. For me, MLS is one of the most interesting leagues in the world. Again this season, we see a range of new players arriving in North America at different stages of their careers, but all with the same objective, to get their hands on the MLS Cup. Time will tell who's going to triumph.